Welcome everyone, this is Pineleaf Needles, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Endang,
Hey, everybody.
Terry Adwin,
Hi, hi.
Maven,
Hey, y'all.
Erithert,
Hello, everybody.
and Carvet.
At your service and your families.
And this week's big story is a real big one, and they have announced that on Monday they will be making an announcement. No, that's right. They'll be closing 19 of the 29 servers currently up at the end of the year, and they will be announcing which servers are going to be remaining on August 3rd, and will be updating the game so that we will be able to implement transfers on there.
Yep, and they
And-
did make a clarification that on August 3rd, it will actually be Bullroar copies, not actual transfers open yet. Although they do hope to open those really quickly after, but they obviously wanted to check and make sure things are copying first before they do anything else, which I think is a really, really smart plan. So,
Yes. Basically, one of the things they want to do is make sure that the copies happen, and the second thing they want to do is make sure that Bulwer doesn't catch fire from people sending these copies over.
They want it to be bull roar, not boom roar.
Yeah, no, you don't want boom roar.
Bullroar.
And some of us already have got together and had a little discussion on this matter, so let's get some opinions from the people who were not in on that discussion. Maven.
Oh, you had to ask me first. I mean, I'm kind of in wait and see mode. I'm not. I don't know. I don't feel as moved about this as some people do. I guess, or blah, blah. I just feel like ask me Monday kind of thing.
Right.
I mean, we knew it was coming, and I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I understand people being upset and stuff,
Right.
but.
How many servers do you have characters on?
I have characters on 3 servers. So Arkenstone and Crick Hollow are my other 2 servers besides Landerval. So I'm not, I mean, and they're all relatively low level, so it's not going to be a big deal for me. I do know that we've had kin members on the Landerval kinship. They're planning to move alts over to Landerval, to join the kin. So the Mythgard kin's going to get an infusion of high level players. But and as far as my kin's concerned, I mean, nobody's really. I mean, they're all just kind of rolling with it and planning and all that stuff. I mean, there hasn't been a lot of outcry or anything like that. So I don't know. I'm going to be really curious to see what gets released on Monday, and I'm sure I'll have an opinion at that point.
And I think you bring up a good point because, we covered a lot of the news points and like how the transfers are going to work and stuff like that, but we didn't really talk about the community's reaction right now, which
Yeah.
some of them act like the sky is falling, and I saw actually multiple people say that like, oh, well, I'll just leave Lotro now because instead of transferring my character, and I'm like, well, what? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You're still going to be on the server. I mean,
I know.
clearly you didn't want to play Lotro and are just looking for a way out. At least that's how I see what they said. Like, I don't understand why this would make you want to stop playing Lotro, but
Well, people resist change in any form.
they do.
That's
like,
true.
so
Change
it's
causes
not-
upset no matter what the change is. It's going to cause
Yeah.
upset. It's true.
Like, I mean, if they said they were renaming all the servers and keeping 29
Yeah.
servers, people would be upset.
I think that would
So,
be
like-
an even bigger deal, actually.
What do you mean? I don't
You'd
want to
have-
have to start playing on higher.
I picked the only server I can pronounce. Tolkien names, dang it.
I mean, the thing though is it's like what I've Mike and some folks were freaking out, and it's like, chill out.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
what's the worst possible case scenario? Our server closes. That's the worst case scenario. In which case, we'll all figure out where we're gonna go together. No sweat, no worries. Like, yes, we'll be playing, you'll be talking to different people in world chat. If you get all your friends to go to the same place, no worries at all on that either. So it's like, I mean, there's so many ways to keep in touch with people now, even just like Facebook for your kin group, or your forums or whatever outside of the game. Even it's like people tend to. I think people are freaking out more than it needs to. That being said, some of the lower population servers are probably, I mean, I understandably bummed out because every server does have its own community, and it will be sad to see some of those communities go. Because like the smaller servers, you know everybody on the server
Yeah.
basically, so it'd be it's kind of like a sunsetting server. I like the language they used on it, but it's
Yeah.
kind of sad for some servers, but overall, like it's not going to make as huge of an impact on your gameplay as most people are fearing. Like, oh no, I'm going to be somewhere with nobody that I know, and I'll have to start all over. No, it's okay. It's not the end of the world, except if yours is ending.
Yeah, I think
It's the
I
end
think
of
the
the
only
world.
people
Yeah.
that this does actually affect, and Sam in the chat points this out, is people with a ton of characters. Sam in the chat says he has 115 characters, and trying
Yeah.
to fit them all into the remaining 5 of US or, if EU,
Oh
depending
yeah.
on which side he stays on,
That's gonna be fun.
will be quite a chore, like he says. So
Well, yeah, and
that,
Pine Leaf. I mean, Pine Leaf. You have Pine Leafs on different servers, right? So is there? I mean, is there going to be a consolidation of Pine Leafs?
Well, yeah, the idea there is to have, when it's all done, to have, well, five pine leaves. That's there. Well, actually six, because there is going to be Laurelin also.
let me ask this, because I'm kind of interested, since we've been going down this path kind of. Is anyone going to be deleting a character or just choose not to transfer it over?
Yes.
I have some
Well,
characters on Amladris I'm not going to transfer over.
I'll say that there will probably be about 15 pine leaves that won't be transferred.
Yeah, I've got 29 Aeritherts. I'm like, no.
Yeah, I have 29 Terrys, so that
And I've got
yeah.
some Erebjorns too, because their intro is faster when I was running late on Chicken Run prep. So yeah, no, I'm not transferring those. The only people characters I've got a couple on some server that I can't remember at the moment. But it's like a level 30 hunter, and I'm like, not worried about that one because I have a hunter. And Landrival and Gladden. If either of those two comes down, then I'll be moving characters. But if not, I'm just gonna be like, sorry guys, it was nice playing you that one time. And
Yeah,
that's it.
right,
Yeah, I mean,
right.
I think I have a couple I'll probably delete. My wife sent me a text the other day that one of her elven hunters sailed the ship to the west, never to return, and it was kind of like, oh, you didn't have
I
to
always
do
thought
that,
I always thought it'd be cool if like you had an option to take your character to the Undying Lands, like if you were an elf or something, like
Yeah,
you could
that'd be
go
cool.
and you could never play it again after that, but you'd be able to see this beautiful place and
Yeah.
then log out, and then you'd never be able to play the character again, and it would show as dead
So
on
what
your
you're
screen or
saying
something.
is you want in the game launcher to have a drag into a recycling box named the Undying Lands.
No, like in the game, like
Yeah, I know what you're
if you
saying.
if
But
instead of just deleting a character, or people like retire characters because they're leaving the game and it's just not fun for them anymore. But it'd be nice to have one last thing that your character can do that's all
yeah,
sentimental.
I hope by the end of the game, if that ever happens in a timely manner, that they'll do that. That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
Right.
But for
Anybody else
now,
have
the
anything
game's
to
not
add?
ending. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, like it sucks for 2/3 of the servers, but probably maybe half to a third of the population. It's a rough. It's a rough thing, but like I think it's definitely going to be good for the game. I think I'm looking forward to it and see what happens.
All
I'm
right,
with you.
then let's go to some clarifications that were made afterwards. And Dang, what were these clarifications?
Yes, well, Vivian, our game's executive producer, did take to the forums to answer some questions that people were having over and over again on the forums. And so let's go ahead and go into the first one, which was, does the kinship disband when the kin leader moves? And the answer is yes, it does, which means all messaging to players should be through in-game mail and forums before leaving the world. Kind of important to know.
Mhm.
Just a little important.
Just a small detail.
Just a wee bit.
Small detail. All right, next question, which a lot of PvP people were asking. If it says the question is transfer of Reaver or other monster characters, which isn't really a question, but anyway. It says you can move multiple, or you can have multiple of one type in cases of transfer of monster characters. In this case, you should find a small drop-down arrow next to that monster type that will give you selection of Reavers or other types to choose from. So I'm thinking, after the show tonight, to be making like 15 Defilers, 15 Reavers, and 15 others, just so I can have all these monster character options.
Why
So-
would you want to?
Because
Like, I've
then,
had that.
if
I
you
had
want to
that
be a
happen to me,
Freever,
actually.
like rank 1 Reaver, you can go out and have a lot of fun. Or if you want to be like your big rank 15 Reaver, you can do that without having to lead either of them.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I had a situation like that happen to me. I had a Reaver. It was a Reaver, and something happened where I don't know what happened, but one got deleted, and I put in an undelete thing, and I was like, you know what? Never mind. It was rank 0. I'll just make it again. And I had two Reavers that were like one letter difference in their name. It was confusing, but I had that little arrow next to it. So you can go and select your other meaningless Reaver that you rolled at the same time. And then I subsequently deleted both of those to get a better name.
I've done similar things, but it would be nice to be able to do this now that I have some higher ranking classes, and I don't want to delete them, but I also kind of want to experience new stuff. But I guess I can always just go to another server and do that. But anyway, that is good news. A lot of people were worried about that, so people can do that now apparently. Alright, next question. Can I transfer to multiple worlds while in the free transfer period? Answer: yes. There is no limitation to the number of transfers you can do. Once the transfers between the remaining 10 are no longer free, however, you will have to pay to move between them. So this is, in my opinion, the best answer out of this whole clarifications thing. There's no limit to the number of times you can transfer. So let's say you thought you heard your kinship saying that they're transferring to Arkenstone, but really they said they're transferring to Landerville.
Or they just told you Arkenstone.
Or they just told you Arkenstone.
But the thing is, though, that I'm confused about that is if you're on one of the 10 remaining servers, why would you transfer to another one of the remaining servers?
Just because of that. If you're on one of the 10 remaining and you accidentally transfer to the wrong one where all your friends transferred to another, you
But why
can
would
transfer
all
again.
your friends transfer if your server's not closing?
No, Andang's saying like if you were on Snowborn or something, or some other North American server, because I think Snowborn's European. If you were on a small North American server and all of your kinship transfers to, say, Gladden, which is staying open, and you got the message wrong and picked
But-
Landreval instead because it was in there, your finger slipped. You would be able to go ahead and transfer over to Gladden even though you've already transferred to Landreval.
For
But here's the
free.
thing, though, is like you'd have to pay to transfer to Landerville, right? Still?
No.
No,
Th-
for free for a
this,
little while.
all this
still.
is saying is it's free until the free transfer period's over.
Is
Right.
it free for all the servers or just those 10? Because I read it and I thought it was just those
Okay.
10 it's free between.
You should have been here for our chat earlier this
I
week.
should
Arthur.
have. I was, yeah.
Transfers are free from a closing server till the end of time.
Okay, cool.
This is just saying if you transfer from that free server to one of the remaining and you accidentally transfer to the wrong one, you can still transfer for free while the free transfer period on those 10 continues. So you can actually
I can
transfer
handle
if your
now.
server's staying around and you decide that you want to transfer one of your characters to one of the other ones that are staying around, you can do that. And then if you decide you don't really like that server you change to, you can change back.
So I can be like, you all suck. Toodles.
If you wanted to go that route, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you. I understand now. I
Cool.
understand. I know now. Folk in those servers have no chances. Had chances at turning back. Didn't.
All right, and
Carry
the final question that we're going to talk about from this was, can you grant more character slots? And the answer was we are now looking into adding 2 free character slots to all premium and VIP accounts. We will
Wow.
also have a sale on character slots.
Cool.
Kind of weird that they're saying they're looking into and not confirming that they're going to be giving us free stuff. That seems kind of
Well,
annoying,
think
but I
that's
am glad
probably
they're
one of
looking into
those-
it. That's
yeah,
something.
That's one of those things they probably have to do the numbers and crunch on it and see if it's,
Yeah.
business appropriate and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, Barnabas said it in the chat.
Appropriateness.
Money, 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 money.
If it's a good business decision based on what they're talking about, and I'm sure somebody's gonna run a spreadsheet and do some sales projections and all that kind of jazz. But I'm just imagining. I think the maximum number of allotted slots per server is going to be some ridiculous number, like 30 plus, maybe even as much as 40. You're like, that's a lot of characters on a server. Let's see. I think I'm gonna play my Monday Guardian today. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like, how many copies of which race do you need? Should I go off today with the Hobbit Guard, the Elf Guard, the Dwarf Guard, or the Man Guard? I think I'm gonna go with the Hobbit Guard today. I'm feeling kind of.
I never understood. Like, well, I don't even know what I'm going to do if I get 2 more character slots. I have one of each class already. I have no
Yeah,
concept
but
of
one thing that's
anything
important
past that.
here is that it's free character slots.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
So that means if, let's say that there's a premium player that only has 5 slots, or however many you have as a premium, I don't remember off the top of my head, it might even be 3.
That would be 5 if they purchase Moria.
5 if they purchase Moria. So let's say you're in that case, and you get 2 additional ones, and you happen to have, a few characters on another server, that's 2 less character slots you're going to have to buy now. So that would be really cool, assuming they actually go ahead and go forward with this. So hopefully they will. Overall, all their clarifications were very good news. So I'm glad they made these clarifications, and it's very important to know that kinship one, because that could be very bad. If Lonely Mountain Band disbands and, move to another server, that would be very bad if you never got the memo.
You log in and you're like, why did everybody go? Feel
Maybe I
sad.
don't have a kinship anymore.
I've been kicked. What?
Right.
There is no such thing.
My
No,
kinship
no.
left me, my server's closing down, what's going on? It's
I know.
horrible.
It
It
would
was
be
quite
like,
possibly the saddest thing I've ever heard on this show.
I know.
Note that while they are at some point in the near future going to have character slots on sale, they're not going to be on sale this week. So Terry, what is on sale?
Ooh,
That
very
was a segue.
impressive. Awesome.
This week's free sample, July 31st through August 6th, is a random relic pack. Use coupon code RRRRP one time. that was interesting when I was typing ARP.
The Castle of
25% off milestone skills, rapid and hurried and expedient traveler, riding traits, and the simple rally horn. So yay travel, except for the rally horn, because And then now through August 5th still is the summer festival, so that's Wednesday.
oh, okay, cool. A few more days to drink.
Few more days to bet on your dwarves and your hobbits.
Right.
I ought to do
And,
that.
and then right after that is about the time when they'll be opening up the gates on transfers.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's go into the site news, which we seem to have quite a number of items here.
Yeah, I don't know how this happened, but we have the most site news we've had since we've gotten any of the new co-hosts. It's ridiculous.
I didn't
Right.
do it. It's not my fault.
Yeah,
Well, the first little bit is an announcement that episode 1 of the Middle-earth Lore series will be released on Monday, August 3rd. So pay attention to that
Keep an eye out
because
for
you're
that.
going to have to with all the other news that's going to be coming
That's
through
right,
that
but
day.
if you check out the site at noon Eastern, it will be up. So check out the site on noon Eastern, you
Very
can watch the
excited.
first episode of Middle-earth Lore.
Very exciting.
So
Yeah, I can hear the
exciting.
excitement in your voice.
No, I'm
Yeah.
serious.
mean-
No, I was holding it down. No, I am very excited about it. I think I'm really looking forward to hearing what people think of it.
Trish is
Yeah.
excited, but she's also exhausted after the last 4 months of working on this thing.
Well, there is that. right. Let's head into our first little bit. LOTRO and lore, statues of the hobbits, and these are where they go over through all of the statues of hobbits that are in the Shire.
The
Well,
whole two of
both
them.
of them.
I'm gonna say they're kind of in short
The whole
supply.
two of them.
Yes. And it looks like the picture of the statue in Mickle Delving is the original version, just in case you weren't around to see the original version.
Yeah, that was really cool to
Yeah,
see.
before Bounder's Bounty.
Yeah, before the Bounder's Bounty and before the sprucing that happened a couple of weeks ago.
Yes. Last week. Last week.
Last week.
Literally just last week.
Wow.
All
Was it?
right.
No, it was at the same time Bingo came out, so it was like a
Yeah,
week and a half.
it was last Monday. Well, by the time this episode releases, it will have been 2 weeks.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Then let's go into our poll. Did you like the new PvP map?
Well, it's not past tense. The new PvP map is still around, Pineleaf. It's okay.
Okay.
Yes, we asked people if they like the new PvP map, and with 105 votes, 47% said they don't PvP. So nearly half. So that already shows you how accurate this poll is. 17%, 39 votes, said yes, they do like the new PvP map. 16% with 35 votes said it's okay. There's a new PvP map, got 17 votes, 8%. No, with 7%, 16 votes, one behind not knowing if there's a new PvP map or not. And other with 5%, 12 votes. So this was an interesting and enlightening poll on our audience.
All right. It does indicate, though, that most of the players who have played the new map seem to like it.
That is true, yeah.
Yeah, I've played a little bit, not a whole lot. I'm kind of in the it's okay thing. There's not a whole huge incentive to play there. It seems to be a little laggier, but I mean, it's good if you want to roll up and down the center for a while. But so far, like, a lot of stuff hasn't developed down the sides of the map from what I've seen and from what I've heard. People just tend to stick in the middle and go back and go forward, then go back.
Now I'm
Right, but
picturing.
it's kind of like a tug of war match, and I kind of like that. It's
Yeah.
a different type of PvP. I'm glad they didn't just make an Osgiliath map that's exactly like how the Etmors plays. That would have been really boring.
Yeah,
So I'm glad
It's-
it's something different.
it's definitely a good map for wargs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now I'm picturing a bunch of wargs rolled into balls going up and down the bridge.
Do a
I'm
barrel
gonna
roll.
roll
That's
with
warg.
my wargies. Gonna catch me PvP.
Right. This week's LOTRO Academy episode 109 is a mysterious tour of the Shire. And despite the title, the hobbit that's on the front page is not mystery, but is euphorbia instead.
No, but mystery has returned.
Woohoo!
Whee!
Oh.
So
That's
super
great.
awesome. If you've been missing the beautiful tones and luscious noises that come out of Mystery's mouth, then you will want to check out LOTRO Academy episode 109.
Tones
Her
and
exotic
luscious
birds.
noises.
The kookaburra. And other things you'll hear in the background. It's fantastic.
Oh, yes. Especially since back in the days when the LOTRO Academy was recorded on Saturday afternoons, and it will be very early Sunday morning for Mystery, and every bird in Australia seemed to have been perched right outside of the window.
That's right, and we have never seen or heard Mystery and Maven talk at the same time, and they both have birds in the background. So,
Oh,
I'm
gosh,
thinking
we could
they
have
might be
dueling
the same
birds.
person.
No, Maven's been hiding that accent for a long time.
She
It's
has.
so-
She's the real
I'm gonna
voice
be
actor.
crying. Yeah, it's
Oh
that
man.
would be... Or maybe I am in my dreams, that when I'm asleep, then I'm mystery. I don't know. Anyway.
Seems
I
very
dream a
mysterious.
dream of mystery. That's it. That's all I got.
Right. This
Jeez.
week's LOTRO video highlight is one of the ultimate raids I think I've ever seen. This reminds me back to my WoW days when we used to do these raids called Hogger raids, where a bunch of first level characters would get together and raid the lowest level elite character, which was about level 9 or 10, I think Hogger was. And in this case, it is chickens going after wolves.
I'll tell you what, man.
This is
I
great.
watched this video and I'm like, I want to do this.
Yeah,
This looks
this
like
looks
a
awesome.
hoot. It's a mob of angry chickens going after a red wolf, and the wolf's like, "Ah!" And the chickens are all, bangs and feathers flying. It's a fight to the death.
You definitely had that other cup of coffee card. That's definitely. But no, this is awesome. I absolutely want to do this at some point. Aerith, this seems right down your alley. We need to organize
I'm
this.
a little like, in all honesty, I'm a little bit chickened out.
Oh.
But but I would get back on a chicken for that.
I've actually seen posts about this community event on Laurelin and haven't gotten up the nerve to do it because I didn't want to be the only chicken there that I knew. But I would totally do it with a bunch of
But you
people
did
that I know.
chicken out,
We
but
should
not
do
really.
it. The 6 of us should do it.
Shit.
We should do it. See, I can tell you guys are all excited to do it.
Yeah, we're really excited.
I'm just no. I'm
Everybody's like,
thinking like I don't know if only 6 chickens will be enough.
Yeah, I don't know either.
No,
Okay.
you
So it needs to
you
be-
definitely
Needs
need
to be a
a
lot, huh? Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the main thing is, as a chicken, you miss more than you hit. So it's a bunch of chickens like flapping their wings at wolves, hoping that like they'll be fanned to death, basically.
You open the wolf bites the chicken on the other side, and you don't get it
Right.
because it's like, I'm
Like,
dead.
you can actually kind of manage the aggro on the wolf if you keep moving, and whoever the wolf's chasing after, that person can use their flop skill. If you use the flop on the move, it doesn't hit the cooldown, but the wolf will drop aggro.
Oh, wow. That's a good
Yeah.
trick.
Nice.
Really, all
So
the
you-
chickens are just trying to fan the wolves back into that one haystack with that one needle in it, hoping that it does enough DPS to kill the thing.
What
Either
you
that or
want to do?
poisons
You
it.
buff him to the point where he gets a cold and then he falls over from a viral infection.
A deadly
Needle
wolf
pokes
cold,
in.
yeah.
You get
In
some
seeing
sort
the
of rare
video, I did
disease.
see that a couple of chickens did die, and at least one wolf got killed also.
Yeah.
A lot of chickens died.
Well,
Lots
that's
of
good.
chickens
Lots-
died, including the chicken that was filming, which was
Yes.
great.
Yeah, but theoretically, you could do it without any chickens dying if everyone's perfect, which nobody is.
Yeah,
So,
right.
In theory,
In
In
says
theory,
theory.
in theory,
guy
it
in
is
the
possible.
Res Ring. Yeah.
We now have another episode of Piney's pictorial primer to skirmishing. Stand at Amansul, where we take a look at the skirmish on top of Weathertop.
Yeah, Pine Leaf. And you know, you reading your poem last week made me think, how great would it be to hear Pine Leaf read his entire spreadsheet of the skirmish guides?
We don't have that kind of time, though.
My
Ah, that's true. Oh man,
Right.
we were so close.
good. I'm gonna
Because
have
this is
to read
super
it.
in depth.
This is, yeah, this is amazing, Pine Leaf. Thank you so much for doing these. These are great.
So how many times did you have to run Amansul to do the update?
Oh boy.
Many.
I lost count.
Yeah.
Approximately lots.
Yeah. Somewhere between oh boy and ah.
Right.
Between ouch and point.
And the defensive ones are a little bit tougher sometimes because when you're trying to run it as a raid, how many
Oh,
seconds
yeah.
does it take me to get killed? Or candidate to be killed, more likely?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
We have a post by Lily Kate Buggins, who has a modest proposal that they create a new user channel called Join Channel Langeville Music, a good meeting place for all Langeville musicians to chat together and to ask for help with bands and such, or perhaps even do some recruiting.
That's cool.
Yeah, this is really cool, and they actually did create it, so that's even
I was like,
cooler.
kind of surprised that's not already been done, actually.
Yeah, I was too, and this seems like a fantastic idea.
Yeah, just get up there, create it, and then broadcast it. Bada bing, done. That's all you have to do to create a channel. Just join channel and then put a name on it and then tell people this is the channel I created and you can use it. Doesn't even have to be officially sponsored.
Unless you want to put it where only certain people can get into it, and then you need a password, in which case you say join channel, my channel, and then the next word would be password.
Ah.
And then only people that know the password, you get into your password protected channel.
Well, there you go.
And some alliances of kinships do use a passworded protected channel so that all the
Yes.
members of the alliance could communicate with one another, since
I
kinchat
know
only affects your own kinship.
it
Right.
happens on creep side too, because a lot of times you'll have free players log in a character, and this happens both sides as well, but I only know of the creep side ones. There's actually 3 different tiers of of secret channels. As each one gets leaked out, they make another one a little more secret, and then gradually narrow it down. Okay, these are the ones to use. This channel, if you don't want these people finding out, blah 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 blah, etc. So yeah,
And
password protected
use
channels are
this channel
definitely a
if you want
thing.
to post misinformation.
Yes, exactly. No, it happens. It happens.
I do have an announcement to make that Lily Kate has shared with me. Shirefest will be coming up soon on Crick Hollow, and she actually suggests everyone to make a character before August 3rd, which this show comes out on August 3rd. So hopefully you're watching the YouTube version and can create a character on Crick Hollow, or hopefully Crick Hollow is not one of the closing servers, so that you can actually create one on that server. But that is coming up, so create a character on there if you're interested in that.
And speaking of music, we have a bandstand article from Forte Maestro for Le Beau Chapeau. Or someone speak French to know the proper way of saying that?
Les Beaux Chapeaux.
Le Beau Chapeau. Okay, so it's intended to rhyme.
Which translates to Pineleaf can't translate this.
It's the fancy hat.
It's the fancy hats.
Ah, the fancy hat. Actually,
It
I
is
guess
the
that makes
hat
sense.
fancy. Oh yes, and it is a fantastic interview. You should read it.
For their second anniversary of the band. And it looks like hobbits and a
And
dwarf.
Yes.
All in fancy hats, of course.
Yes.
Of course.
Very well, then.
It's good to see that Le Beau Chapeau is back, because at one point they made a pretty public departure when the music system got all
Yes.
anyway.
Yes.
And so to see them back, which is great fun. But I love the way this article reads, because it's definitely done in character. These hobbits and the dwarf are certainly living up to a ruckus hobbit / dwarf band.
I'm picturing this happening in real life, like hobbits and a dwarf. Like you go into some little Italian restaurant, and up there's on a stage, there's like a dwarf and these hobbits, and they're just totally destroying the place, but making good music, so people kind of tolerate them. And then they're like, well, really good music, and then they really like them, and then they wreck the place. And then the management kicks them out, but all the fans love them forever.
Aerothird's back on the
And-
show this week, guys. Yay!
And continuing with the music theme, we have an article from Lily Kate Buggins on I'll Get By to Rockfest with help from my friends. And Lily Kate is asking for some help from the community for some additional musicians for the Rockfest on Sunday, 9th of August at 11:45 a.m. to 1 p.m. I presume that is server time. And that's for the Rockfest. So if you would like to participate in this, contact Lily Kate Buggins.
Awesome.
Then we'll head on to the question is, what makes a memorable band?
A dwarf and lots of hobbits.
I was gonna say a dwarf and elf hybrid band, but sure.
All right,
You know
and
the song? Sorry, like the dwarf elf hybrid brand. Like if it was in character, you know the there's a song like an old Johnny Cash song. The one on the right was on the left. And it's basically about a folk band that was really good, but then they fought about politics on stage and broke up. Basically, I can picture that happening with an elf dwarf band.
You can also picture that happening if you listen to Fellowship exclamation mark the musical, where that does happen between Legolas and Gimli, and it's awesome.
All right.
right. And Lily Kate, who seems to have been rather busy this week, posted a new episode of Small LOTRO Adventures, which includes the second episode of the adventures of Bingo Boffin. So I'm not going to go into what that entails since we don't want to give away with what Bingo Boffin is up to.
But
Right.
without spoilers, how awesome was this week's episode of Bingo Boffin? Really?
Oh, so awesome. And I like the teaser for next week. The teaser for next week is really
Yes.
fun.
I know I did it, but I'm totally blanking out right now.
That just
Someone
means
give me
you have
like
to
a
keep
keyword
that.
that only people who have done it would remember.
Jumping.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't done it yet because I frankly forgot.
In my
which
case,
character
failing.
I don't remember which character I started it on, so I'm gonna have to just pick somebody and binge it. I was told, however, that the Small Lotro Adventures should have a disclaimer of uncontrollable cuteness incoming.
Yeah, it really
I haven't
should.
seen it yet, but I'm sure that that's probably worth it considering what I've heard about Lizzie and Lily.
It's almost too much to bear.
Yes. Can we talk about Bingo Boffin's face? I know I just met ya, and this is kind of crazy. But, it's just like, dude, wow. A little bit of makeup, and I think he could give Nicholson a run for his money for the Joker role.
That's
saying.
messed up.
Right. We have another installment of the House of Bjorn, The Siege, Part 1. Something tells me that next week might be The Siege Part 2.
I
Don't
hope
be
so.
crazy,
They
Pine
really
Leaf.
set up this awesome scene, and you're like, yeah, oh, next week.
I skipped this one because I never read anything that's part 1 unless part 2 or 3 or whatever is out.
So if this
Well,
is a
there is some
59
logic to
part
that.
series, you have a long time to wait, Terry.
Yes.
Well, the thing is, how do you know if there's more than part 2? If you'll just put out part 2, and then you're like, okay, and then you read part
When
1
Oh,
and
they
2.
that
finally
seemed like
have
that
one
ended.
doesn't have a part number. It called something
Yes,
out.
exactly.
Ah, well, see, that involves thinking.
Unless he's being sneaky and it's really given a different title, and then he goes back to part like 4
Yeah,
Now-
like an interlude.
after listening to this.
Yes. Speaking of sneaky and thinking, Lily Kate has posted another episode, the final installment of Where's Tinky? And this week it's from Weatherstock. So therefore you have these Tinkies all over the place and you have to find the real one.
And how are you supposed to know where the real Tinky is?
Really?
Well, clearly, Terry, you are not taking screenshots the entire time with Tinky selected to know all the answers.
Again,
She's speechless.
thinking and planning.
Well, because, I mean, obviously the guy dressed like Tinky is not Tinky because he's way too tall. But
Right.
but other than that,
You just look for a short hobbit in yellow.
Do you know how many hobbits in yellow there are in these pictures?
That's
Small
what
banana.
makes it hard.
I had one of my minstrels hobbit outfit things that was just like a drop that I picked up. It was bright yellow, and I looked like a banana because the hat was all pointed and stuff, and it had like a little black thing on the top. I was like, I'm a healing banana.
That's
This is great.
fantastic. Don't drop the banana. It's full of potassium. That's incredible.
So finally, if I
And
heard
then
you did a
promptly
poem
put
this
on my
week.
Founder uniform.
Yes, a poem, Pine Leaf, a
Right,
poem.
all right, let's go into the poem. This week's installment of Poems of the Pine, we head into the North Downs. Fornost did fall to forces from Angmar, that now were near the North Down homes. A council was called to quickly find a means to meet the massing foes. We called the dwarves who dwelt in the north, but they were harried by threatening foes. The dour hands dared to take Dory away, till we raided that rabble to rescue him. We called the elves who cared for the south, that Gildor greed for the great glades wounding. To stop the orcs, we stalked our foes till we dealt out death to Druk the foul. We called the men mustered at the bridge who fought the orcs at a frequent rate. Yet tribes unknown to Trestle Bridge did come until we countered them. We aided all the allied folks, so to council did they come. Can we stop the stranglehold of Angmar, our ancient foe?
Wow. Awesome job, Pineleaf.
Yeah.
It sounds almost like you took a class on Tolkien. On Tolkien poetry.
Tolkien poetry, for that matter.
So, my question is, Pineleaf, are you going through these books again before you write these poems, or are you just writing them from memory of what the books are, having gone through them so many times?
It's a little bit of each because I did do book 3 pretty close to when I was writing this poem.
Also, this poem is way more awesome than the actual book is in the game. Jocelyn and you tell them that there's danger, and they're like, we don't care.
We can handle it ourselves.
We've been fighting orcs for generations.
Yeah.
But these are the new improved advanced orcs.
You guys are full of it. Go away.
Yeah, I know, right?
All right, let's head into the new player question. And this week it's brought to you by The Vault.
Every adventurer accumulates gear, loot, crafting, and task items, and a hoard of priceless artifacts over time. This needs to be organized, stored, and protected. Introducing the Vault line of cabinetry. The Vault cabinets are crafted from the sturdiest Ilex planks imported from the forests of Lothlorien and infused with mithril by the dwarves of Moria. Combined with quality locks from the shop of Fennel and Keep'em of Combe, this makes the Vault the secured storage of Bounders and Blackwolds alike. Each cabinet comes complete with a set of sturdy steel keys, personalized and customized to each cabinet. Protection like no other, the Vault. Orders taken at a Lully's Market near you.
That was so over the top.
Maven,
Over the
what's
top.
this week's question?
Oh, wow. So this week's question, as a little bit of a prologue, when I was in my first character, was so excited when I got to level 15 and got told I get to go to Bree that I just like whooshed there and never looked back, until I realized through mainly Terry, because Terry's an expert at this, that there's like this thing called the Eredluine meta deed and the Shire meta deed that actually is worth doing. So what are meta deeds? What do they consist of, and what kind of rewards do they provide?
So, in addition to Eredluine and the Shire, there's actually meta deeds for everywhere.
Yep.
Each
Right.
zone has its own series of meta deeds, and they're composed of a series of quest deeds, explorer deeds, and slayer deeds. And in the case of the Shire, there are actually 2 additional deeds. There is actually 3. There's the Mail deed, there's the Pyre deed, and there's the Shire Brewmaster, which is actually a hidden deed. So the reward for completing the meta deeds is that you get a loot box and a sturdy steel key that goes with it. And in the process of completing all of the other deeds, you get the rewards for the other deeds, which are going to consist of your virtues and a title and some turbine points.
So the virtues is actually pretty. That's pretty significant, isn't it? The virtues.
Virtues can be, but again, you don't have to do the entire meta deed to get all the virtues, because not all of the virtues are going to apply to something that you want for your
Oh, that's
character.
true. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I do them out of habit just because I'm something of a completionist and I hate seeing those incomplete deeds sitting in my deed log. I've gotten to where I can do the Arid Lewin and meta deed in about 2 hours, and the Shire takes me a little bit longer because you got to do Mail and Pie.
Yeesh.
And all those quests, the series of quests that you need for the Shire meta deed is so horrible because it's 75 quests to complete Life of a Bounder final.
Yeah.
Right.
There's-
And then they
And-
exist, like you say, they exist in all the other areas too, right?
Yep.
Right.
And
And there's
actually-
regional ones.
Yep, there are regional ones. There's actually a
And there's
meta deed
instance.
for all of Eriador. If you
Yep.
do all of the meta deeds and all of the regions in Eriador, there's an additional prize on top of that. And a lot of the Eriador meta deeds are fairly new. They came in with, I want to say, update 13 or 14.
Somewhere around there.
So they haven't actually been around a long time. But if you had actually done all of the deeds before the meta deed process became a thing, then you get retroactively rewarded the stuff that you got for the meta deed. So
So
I
remember
actually
logging in and getting all
I
that
remember
stuff.
logging in and getting a couple of loot boxes and some keys and a ton of marks.
is there a meta deed for doing all of Rovanian meta deeds?
I don't
I would
think so.
imagine.
Because
don't
if there
know.
was, then it'd be cool if there was a meta deed for doing the meta deeds for doing all the meta deeds.
Because I'm guessing that
It's like a
there's
meta
not.
deedception.
I'm guessing there's not one because they haven't finished, or they don't want to say that they've finished that whole area yet.
True.
Yeah.
Is my guess.
Because
She
Eriador's
was being all rational.
Eriador is basically done.
complete.
So now,
Right.
how can somebody find out what the metadeeds are for whatever region they are interested in doing, and what the rewards are?
They don't usually pop until you finish one of the deeds within the meta deed, right?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're not going to
and-
know what the meta deed is until you find out, until you've completed one of
At
the
least
things
one of
that's
the
on the
deeds.
list.
Yeah.
Or you can
And there's
wiki it.
Yeah, LOTRO
there's
wiki.
Yeah.
there's some meta deeds that are hidden because my favorite meta deed. You can guess what my favorite meta deed is.
Skirmish.
Scavenger of Middle Earth.
Of course,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
For completing all of the encounter deeds for all the skirmishes, that will then give you a complete meta deed called Skirmisher of Middle Earth.
No wonder you're able to write poetry every week. You're just working on your skirmish deed and then you're thinking about poems the whole time, probably. Now we know. Pineleaf just has all this free time because he's doing mindless tasks.
That's right.
Although, actually, I really like that image of Pine Leaf. Like, coming up with poetry as he's killing things. It's just...
Being inspired. Yes.
Yeah, that's really cool.
While riding a dolphin.
Of course.
I shall write an alliterative poem about this victory.
All right, does anybody
What
else have
hole?
anything to add on this?
You start talking
Nope.
about poetry and pine leaf, and in my brain, I'm sitting here going, "What ho! What light across yonder ridge breaks? It is a priestess of flame who shall take my spear." You know, I don't know.
You're out of control. That's it.
I-
You're out of
I-
control.
I think the
not that
chair
bad.
squeak is what
Let's-
made that.
Let's head into our weekend Lotro. Anding, what did you do?
Well, I thought a lot about how Carv forgot to put the filter on his coffee in his coffee machine and just got like pure coffee today, it seems. And also, I did a
just
lot of
eating the
vague
brownies.
things, like almost breaking a fellowship.
How'd you do that?
Well, I almost broke one because I have not yet transformed myself into Bored I'm Here. So, we're still good to go. I also trained a hobbit, kind of, because he still has one more thing he has to learn. So that's a thing. And much less vague, I finished the second episode of Middle-earth Lore, and it's on Patreon.
Yay!
Yay!
That's awesome.
That was oddly unison.
It was.
Both of you guys were like, "Yay!" and it had
That's
the
one of those
same
like those
note and
few
everything.
times. Like one of the few times that Terry and I get our emotes synchronized just right.
Real life emote kicked in.
Yeah.
Nice.
Alright, so Carv, what have you been up to?
Well, I finished Merkwade on my hunter, No, I made it through Mirkwood on my hunter, and I began gathering all the rangers for the push south. I must admit that part of the epic story is so much faster on a
Oh
hunter
yeah.
with sport skills. Oh
Oh
my
yeah.
gosh, I remember doing it before, like trying to remember which stable route hub to take swift travel from here, and I'm like, oh look, I'm done with the quest. Port done. See ya. Moving on to the next ranger. And after, well, during around the other parts of the week, I ran my first Pelagear derby battle, as it was called to me. But it set the tone really high because I ran with somebody who knew exactly what they were doing and walked through it almost like this amazing tutorial and full platinum. And so I'm like, dang, now if I ever do it and I don't know what I'm doing, I'm gonna feel like I've kind of let myself down. But I got 2 rings and a necklace, so that's like my guardian is like invincible now. It's pretty awesome. Unfortunately, kind of pulled wife aggro on that one because this may or may not have been a gaming session that lasted until about 1:30 in the morning. I got like, why are you still awake? Which led into a 2 a.m. kind of conversation with some lack of sensibility that happens at 2 a.m. So, oops.
I'm guessing it was a
Yeah,
pretty
beneath.
one-sided conversation, wasn't it, Carv?
No, it was definitely two-sided, but there was, yeah. Anyway, so I used all of my husbandly detente skills and
Beneath notice takes
yeah.
longer in real life, is what you're saying.
Yes, it sure does. Sure does. And then another fan thing that happened this week is in another I finished Balewood, and thus I finished Wildemore. So now that I've rebuilt Highbolt and I finished Wildemore, I can take my guard into the Helm's Deep, um,
Yeah.
and move on towards the next level of epicness. So I will say that when I was in Wildemore, I did a quest where my questing buddy was an Ent. And as epic cool as that was, Mossbeard has a bit of a camera problem. Because every time I would swing the camera around to try and get a good angle on my dwarf, all I could get was this close up of Mossbeard's bum. And I'm like, I don't need to get that close to you, man. Because in my head, I kept thinking, hey, Mossbeard, what you gonna do with that big fat trunk? Rustle, rustle, rustle. I'm just
See,
like,
there's a
come on.
reason that there's a first-person mode in the game, Carv.
Yeah,
You
I
can
mean,
zoom in.
I enjoyed Balewood in the sense that it was really neat to kind of weave in and out around the trees, and because I was on a dwarf, I was ducking underneath trunks and stuff, and it was really cool. But man, Mossbeard, come on now, get out of
You,
the way.
I can't stand Bellwood because the deed that I stopped deeding on my guardian was killing trolls there, or wood trolls, and you can't see. When you do find one, you kill it, and then you can't find another one for a little while. Like I found one patch with like 4 of them, and I went and killed them, and then I got lost, and then I found them again, and I killed them again, and I got lost.
There's actually a lot of trolls in there because I was thinking about you the whole time I was running around. I'm going, look, there's a troll, there's a troll, there's a troll. What's there complaining about? There's another troll. But they do come in patches, so you kind of have to wiggle around. Like I was saying, you gotta rustle, rustle, rustle. Do 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 do. So speaking of Airthert, how was your week in
My week
Lotro?
was my week was pretty uneventful, Carve, all things considered. Um, I'm got to do 2 weeks because I missed last week. So over the past 2 weeks, it's almost the same as the past one week. I really haven't had much time in Lotro at all this past week. All I did this week was Level Addicts Wednesday, which continued on last week's. So Tiny, my minstrel, is now up to level 52. Yay! And he's about to start Echad Mirabel in Eregion. So I've done all the things up to that point in Eregion. I'm actually really like Eregion. It's a really pretty zone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the quests are pretty, like there's
Yeah.
only a couple that don't flow super well, but all the quests are really, I mean,
But many because
samey.
you get to one shot everything. So
Well, not anymore.
sometimes 2
It's
shouting.
like three shotting things
Yeah, I
now.
like Oregon because it has the style that is improved for Moria with that expansion, but it's still landscape stuff outside in the nice, beautiful sun. So,
Yeah, I really like the zone. It's becoming a not my favorite one because that still is the Shire and Rohan, but tied. But it's definitely a really nice region. I'm appreciating it much more now because I'd never touched it before every time he'd gone through. I'd like done 3 quests on my Guardian, and that's it. So I still can't swift travel anywhere there on my Guardian, but I can on my Minstrel because he's almost done.
If the lake bed wasn't dried up, do you think it'd be your favorite zone? Or the riverbed?
No, I don't know why I like Rohan and the Shire better. Maybe, well, part of it's because of the music.
Yeah.
The music in Eregion isn't like it's Eregion music, but it's not anything like, wow, this is such good music for this zone. It's so perfect. It's just LOTRO music, you know. It doesn't have a particular musical feel to it, which for me is a big deal. Like the Shire definitely has a musical feel to it. Rohan has such a musical feel to it,
Yeah.
and Eregion doesn't really have that. Lily Kate Buggins would be proud of me. Anyway, I worked a tad on my Langevall minstrel, and he's up to I think like level 33, something like that. And I made a burglar and called him to match Carve's burglar. He's now Grima Derps. So there's Grima Dubs and Grima Derps.
That's right.
Yep. There's a story behind it. My chat kind of invented it, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make this name. And of course I messed it up and named it Grima Derp. So I had to underp the derp and make it derps instead.
So it truly was derps. Plural.
Yep. So last week though, that was all. Actually, that was last week too. But I got on Friday night. I'm not usually like my kinship Rangers of the West. We have like a Friday night groupie thing, not groupie thing, but like a grouping thing. Um, I'm gonna get in trouble for saying that, but we have a Friday night grouping thing, and I'm never usually able to make it. But my schedule got shifted this past week, and I was like, "Woo, Friday night, I'm gonna make it." And I went and we did. We had like 12 people on at level 100, which is I was like, "Wow, there's a lot of people on at high levels," because we have a lot of people always on alts and stuff like that. But we did Heligrod Spider, and a lot of people it was their first time through doing it. And after that, we did Storm on Methedras.
Cool.
And it was a lot of fun, but it was maddeningly frustrating too, because it was my first experience. Like I've tanked and stuff before, but not with another guardian there. And it was like hard being like, okay, are you main tanking? Or are you off tanking? Like what's going on? Like I've got stuff on me, don't taunt it off. And then I would do the same thing to him by accident. It was frustrating to run with two guardians in blue line. That both are like aggro addicts. And then Storm on Methedras was super duper laggy. So a crystal dropped, and by the time I had seen the fight ended, it was already rolled on and stuff like that. People were like, "Oh, we're done." I'm like, "It's got 200,000 morale left. We're not done yet." But I was lagging really bad. But it was a lot of fun, and we won. So that was the main thing. But it was a lot of fun. I don't get to group with my kinnies very often for big group stuff, and I was like, "Yeah, finally." So not a whole lot, but it was fun. Maven, what'd you do?
Hello. Hi there.
Speaking of certain places in Misty Mountains.
So I had two firsts this week. I keep having firsts. This is awesome. So I actually led my very first fellowship. I've been avoiding being the leader of the fellowship, but this time around I was like, Maven, you need to be the lead. I'm like, oh really? And it was a raid. So that added even more
big
fun.
raid.
An infamous big raid. Yes, it was for Heligrod. So it was it was supposed to be a 24-man raid. We actually had 15 people. This was for Mythgard Adventures, so we had the always ready to go. It'll be awesome. Corey Olsen with us, not caring, but it went actually okay. It was fun because fortunately I had been with enough people and in enough raids that I understood all this, the 4 quadrants and getting everybody in the right spots and marking people. I did target assist. I did marking. I was awesome. Anyway, I really would like to do the raid. I really would like to do that raid again, more on level with the full 24, because the truth is we had lots of level 100s, but the lowest level person we had with us was level 53. So I set it low. I set it, I think, like 55. So, it was over before I knew. It was like, oh, that was a dragon? Oh, that dragon was dragon. The one we just killed, like 3 minutes into this, was the dragon. That was the end.
Yeah.
It's like, really, So, but we still die. I mean, the range, like my hunter. I mean, the ranged players, even the level hundreds, we did die. I mean, it ended up being down to like 2 people. Finally taking the dragon out. So it was interesting. The whole thing was really interesting. So that was my first. My second was I finally got into the music system with Terry's help. And actually, it was a homework for the Academy field trip, which I ended up not being able to make it to, but I was all worried. I was like, I've got to do this. So I listened to the Academy podcast on music, and Terry helped me get all set up, and now I am completely hooked. I mean, I've like been shopping songs, and I played my first little concert in the crafting hall in Bree and got people, clapping, and I'm like, oh my God, the spotlight. I'm completely hooked. That's it on me.
Lily Kate is looking for some people for the.
I haven't synced yet. I'm soloing, and I'm so I'm syncing. So yeah, maybe Lily Kate, ping me. We'll talk. We'll have coffee. We'll talk. My people will talk to your people.
Have your people call my people. We'll do lunch.
That's right. We'll do lunch. And then the third thing is connected to the new player question. Since Glorderail was already in the Shire talking to Bingo and doing summer festival stuff, she figured she might as well knock off her Shire meta deed. So I'm happy to report that all I have left now are the pies, and what am I down to? 24 quests away from actually finishing that meta deed. So that's pretty cool. And
Pies are
personally,
like
I'm
13 quests.
Oh, well, see, there we go. So I'm really close. So, but the pie is like I'm saving the the best quote unquote for last, because even though Mary has shown me the routes on all of them, I know I'm going to forget them. So
They're
I'm
a lot
gonna
more fun to do as a group.
yeah, it is. I
Yeah.
do as a so anyway, but so that was my week. And who's after me on this? Terry Adwin. There we go. There you go.
I do want to point out that while they are fun to do as a group, the pies are one of those things that the devs need to look at, because if you're doing it with a group, that pie doesn't respawn for, depending on where you're
yeah.
at, 10 to 15 to 30 seconds.
So the first
And
person
it's
who's
not
taken
shared.
pie.
So yeah.
Yeah, the clock's ticking, and you're waiting for your companion for the pie to show up.
Yeah. So
Devs?
that's
Devs?
devs. Take a look at that for us. So my week in Lotro, my Landreval burglar Sarissa has developed a gambling addiction in addition to her already existing drinking
Or
problem.
drinking. Or drinking
Which
issue.
basically means that I've been running Ale Association quests and also betting on dwarves and hobbits. I have one dwarf left to go for the Lucky Duck deed.
Woohoo! All right.
I got my last hobbit today. And then Otto the dwarf let me down for like the 4th time in a row. So she's not really happy with Otto. And she also got into a fish slap duel with Carveran, which was basically my highlight from Tuesday. And it was great because they're standing in the middle of the 21st hall, fish slapping each other.
And the
People
brilliant
probably thought
part
you
of
were
that
role-playing.
was, I think we both had it on our skill bar, so we're just spamming the skill. So it's like smack, 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 smack. Loremaster's standing there just with his hands in the air going, I don't know.
I don't know these people.
It's great. And my Hobbit Guardian Foriadoc Whiskido went through much of Book 5 and some of the Misty Mountains quests with Foregrin Putback and Grimadubs. So yeah, my Mary character for the lore series is Foriadoc Whiskido, and Trish's Foregrin
Putback. Get it? You guys get it?
Yeah. Those of you who don't get it can check the show notes, and then you'll get the pun. And that was Monday.
Notice how impressed the rest of the co-hosts are with us about that. They're like
I know.
stunned silence.
They're like, yeah, whatever. And I also went through all of my alts on the various servers because, we talked about this earlier. How many characters do you have? I technically have 29 Terry Adwins because I have a Terry Adwin on every server. I haven't necessarily played all of them. Some of them haven't even been logged in. But I did go through the ones that on servers that I remember that I actually had alts. And logged in all of those alts, and in some cases had to respecialize because there have been changes to the trait tree system since the last time I logged them in, and yeah, all that other fun stuff. That took up most of I actually had Thursday off, and that took up most of my day on Thursday.
Wow.
That actually reminds me of something I did on my Guardian recently with Kenny. We basically both stripped off all of our armor, jewelry, belt, weapons, and everything. We slotted the uppercut skill and went to town. And we just slugged it out. It was so much fun.
That's awesome.
So,
If you guys have not had a fist fight in the game, do it.
so
That's
Pilot,
awesome.
how was your week?
We'll begin with my Bjorning on Gladden, where I completed the main parts of Volume 2, meaning I've finished it up to the Battle in the Tower. I still have the epilogues to do. I plan to do all the epilogues that are soloable,
Wow, that's a
meaning
lot.
I am not going to be doing the ones obviously that need 6 players or anything like that, but we'll do the soloable ones, which some of them are just deliver this to somebody while
Mhm.
others are investigating caves and the like. I think there are 1 or 2 of them that are they're soloable, but they are, I think, marked as small fellowship because some classes might run to 1 or 2 challenges there. I'll have to see what the markings are when I go and do them.
And I'm pretty sure some of them are specifically designed to be like, oh, you're not tired of Moria yet. Well, do this quest and you'll be tired of Moria after doing it.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Well, my plan is that the last one that I will do is the one where you say farewell to all the dwarves, since that's a volume finale.
That's one of my favorite quests in the entire region.
Right. Because it means I'm done.
No, because for me, when I had done that quest, I had started Moria like a year and a half before in real people time, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I remember that guy. I
Yeah.
remember that," etc. So it was like
Gotcha.
sentimental.
Yes, it's a very sentimental quest. Then on Langeville, my minstrel there, my character for the lore series, would help Legolas, and then I headed into the Misty Mountains, and I was about halfway through the epic storyline there and doing various quests over there. And on Arkenstone, my captain was running quests in Eastern Gondor, and I probably need a little upgrade of some of my equipment in there or something like that because I was getting ripped into little bitty shreds.
Oh,
I was like, well, what is going on here? Probably I need an equipment upgrade or something because if I wound up getting 2 Easterlings on me at the same time, it was pretty bad news for me.
Yeah, Gondor seems like it's a big step up in terms of difficulty. I mean, I like it, but it's a
Yeah.
jump.
Yeah, that's for sure. So if your character's not ready,
I find it annoying.
well, especially the fact that some of the mobs you find there, first thing it does is disarm me. All right, I get
Oh,
my weapon
yeah.
back. Oh, then he stuns me.
Yeah, they're really
Oh.
smart.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, they had done better with since Dunland, but since then it's like pretty good, and then now we're back to the same spot.
Thundor, yes.
Yeah, it used to be Stunland was what people called it.
Stunland, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really bad over there. When you have mob, well, the half trolls were of the same way no matter where you met them.
Yeah.
But now I felt like that all of the Haradrim seem to, there's at least one Haradrim mob that does that to me every single time.
Yeah, it's annoying.
All right, let's then head into News Beyond LOTRO. We have one story there this week where you may soon have an opportunity to rent a hobbit hole.
Oh, darn, I thought he was going to say Rent-a-Hobbit. I was like, yeah, I'm on board. Put me on that list.
Slavery is
The
illegal.
views of LOTRO players' news do not reflect the views of Maven in regards to Hobbit slavery.
It's renting.
Yeah.
It's not slavery, really. It's not owning a hobbit. It's renting a hobbit.
Indentured servitude.
Anyway, so renting a hobbit hole. Renting a hobbit hole. Okay.
Right, you have not right, and this is going to be constructed in England. They're currently running a Kickstarter
Wow.
with They're running a Kickstarter where they're hoping to run enough money to do this. Currently they're trying for, I forgot what the exact figure was in pounds, but it comes out to about $78,000, and they are about a fifth of the way there.
And what's surprising is they're actually working with the Tolkien Society on this, which is pretty awesome. So it's
I
interesting.
presume it's best to know before you have the Kickstarter and start building the thing to know you've got their permission rather than afterwards finding out, what? What do you mean you can't do this?
Or that you mess something up. Like, what? It's supposed to be small?
It's supposed to be a hole in the ground? What?
Where there lived a hobbit? Eh?
All
Anyway,
right. And they're showing some of the other things that they have in the area because the site that they're using is also the near one, the first reconstructed Anglo-Saxon town.
yeah, that was pretty cool to find out. This seems like a nice idea. I don't think I'll ever be able to make it over there, but it seems like a nice idea.
Well, yes, there is the little bit about it being on the other side of the pond.
But yeah, for people over in that area, this seems like an awesome thing, and it sounds like a lot of fun. Plus, you have the Anglo-Saxon village that you can visit while you're there, so that'd be cool.
We currently have 16 supporters on Patreon. If you would like to join this illustrious raid of players and help support LOTRO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or even be a guest on an episode of LOTRO Players News. And how far are we from the next goal landing?
Well, Pineleaf, we are still about the same spot since we haven't had any new supporters, sadly.
Well, I'm sure that someone will come up and add their support and help push us closer to the goal.
I hope so, but yeah, we're about $20 away from a 1-year VIP code for DDO, and then right after that is a LOTRO VIP code for 1 year. So it'd be awesome to be able to do these giveaways.
All right. And Erithert, could you please read this week's featured comment?
Sure. Willrose left a comment on Pineleaf's guide. Pineleaf, he says, your guides are amazing with so much attention to detail. Thanks for sharing.
And thank you for your feedback.
Love Willrose.
We did not receive any emails this week, but if you would like to send us one, you can send it to podcast@lotroplayers.com. And you could also follow us on Twitter, the Players Alliance @PlayersAlly, Lotro Players @Lotro Players, Andang @PBMP_Andang, Erithert @Erithert, Carvet @CarvetLP, Lily Kate @LilyKate Buggins, Maven @Tolkien Maven, Pineleaf @Pineleaf Needles, and Terry Adwin @Terry Adwin. The Players Alliance has 3 live shows every single week. On Mondays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. On Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Guild Wars Players News. And on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have LOTRO Players News. You can join us for our live shows at lotroplayers.com/live. Thank you, everyone, for listening. This is Pineleaf Niels reminding you to skirmish responsibly.